Okay, trying the door again. Haven't opened it yet for the second time. This is the first time you'll see it on the second try. Now look at that. It's not closing all the way, is it? Let's try it again. Look at that. So, if you have this instance happen to you, do you remember the bottom one we've got 2 turns off, the top one we had 2 turns off? Well, when they installed these, this hinge here might have been tighter than that hinge by 1 turn, right? And so what I could have done is after I took the 1 turn off down there, I could have checked the door, okay? So now we're going to have to tighten one of these up, and I'm going to guess. I'm going to make a suggestion and do this hinge first. This is the middle of the door. So I'm going to keep the camera rolling. I'm going to tighten this up now because the door's not closing all the way, is it? Okay. So I've got to take this over as far back over this way as I can, remember? Now, yeah, see, there's hardly any pressure left on there. And I'm just wondering, I wish I had a smaller Allen here. See, because oh, here we go. Okay, I think I got it down in there. I'm gonna take this off because I have to tighten this up. Remember? Like that. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to do that with the next one because then this arm might have hit the door, okay? So now I can get it just a hair tighter. I'm just kind of adjusting the pin. So I want the pin in as far as possible, but to where it still sticks out a little bit. You don't want it flush. If you take it flush, you're going to have a heck of a time getting it out. Incidentally, I did that right as I started, and I had to get a small little toothpick, take the pressure off it, and luckily I was able to get it out. Then I tried it again. It went all the way in, and then I pushed on it, and the hole must have been lined up directly on the other side. Remember I said there was a hole over here? And it popped out the other side. Okay, so now let's try the door again. I'm going to say this door's going to work pretty good this time. We'll see. We'll see. And if it doesn't, we'll have to try something else here. Here we go. I'm liking that. That's way better. Now see, if it wasn't closing all the way, or if it was going too fast, then I could take the bottom one and maybe try to do that one because the springs might not be exactly the same, and the throw of closing the door could be different on the bottom as opposed to the middle. Now if the self-closing hinge was up on the top, it'd be something entirely different. So it just kind of depends on how your door is swung and the heaviness of your door and the height of your door. Remember, my mother's was, I don't know if you saw that video or not, her door was 8 foot tall. And it had on the very bottom hinge, and not the next one, but the next one up. And she had 4 hinges. Okay. And some doors might have self-closing hinges on all 3 of them. I've also seen some with just the top hinge, some with just the middle hinge. And it just kind of depends, but I'm liking this right here. I'm going to call this good. We're going to try it again. I usually try to try things about 5 times before I say it's good. I'm liking that a lot. Another thing that's going to affect it is if your garage door is open. If your garage door is open and if there's wind outside, this door may not close now. So you're going to have to try it, and if it bothers you, you can tighten up another hinge. And because we've got 2 turns, we undid 2 turns down here. It ultimately only undid 1 turn there. Do you remember? So if it needs to be tighter, then I would tighten up that bottom hinge 1 turn. Only time will tell, and after 5 or 6 days, a week or so, you'll be able to tell if you want that door to close easier, close harder, or whatever. It's interesting to note the reason why this door is like that. Why do you suppose that door has closers on there. I didn't see if you open the door like that far, it might not have enough oomph to close the door, you see. But when you open it, most people are going to open it up at least that far to get inside your house, you know. But the reason why they have door closers or self-closing hinges on here is generally the wall between the garage and the house is 5/8 sheetrock, and that's considered a 1 hour rated wall. And this door is a solid core door. I have not looked at this door yet, but I'm going to wager it's a 20-minute rated door. And if it is, there'll be a tag on the side. And see, this is where the tag is, right here. The painters, when he painted, you see this, he put masking tape on there, and then he cut it around there, and he forgot to take the masking tape off. Well, that's the label for the door. And that will say 20-minute label, 20-minute rated. Sometimes if you don't see it here, it could be on the top of the door. Okay, and that's how they do that. And this door is supposed to be kept closed at all times. Okay, that way if you've got a fire or something, at least it's going to take an hour. If you got a fire in the garage, let's say, from that car or something like that, it's going to take an hour to burn through this wall. That's why it's called a 1 hour rated wall. And the door can be a 20-minute labeled door in a 1 hour rated wall. That doesn't really make sense, does it? But that's how it works. That's what the code is. And even if you later on have an issue with this door not closing all the way, you can, you know, most times than not, when this door closes, you're going to close it and lock it. And, you know, after you come in with the groceries, whatever. So the door is going to be closed. But I've got this set up, and it seems to be closing fine. And I can never control the wind out in the garage or anything, but chances are, if you've got a garage door and if it's windy outside and your door doesn't close all the way, guess what? You're probably going to end up closing your door, aren't you? Your garage, or this door here. I'm gonna open that. We're just going to see. It's not a given that it's going to work right now for not closing the door, because it might not be windy enough out there. You only need a little bit of a breeze, you know. Okay, here, we're going to try it here. See, it's still closing fine. No real issue there. Okay. One thing it is doing, have you noticed it's squeaking? The doors, hear it? That's because I think it's the top hinge. If you got any silicone spray or 3-in-1 oil, you can put a drop of oil on that hinge, or you can pop the hinge pin out, put a little bit of grease on it, put it back down, spray some WD-40 on it, whatever. You know, the silicone-based WD-40, maybe even spray these. You can do that. I don't have any right now. I'm gonna ask my auntie if she has any, and if she does, I'll fix that as well. That's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.